Hey everyone, Josh Buchan here. I'm at Winton Raceway with GT Evolution, and behind me we have two brand new G80 M3 Tourings. One has just a lowering spring setup and the other has a full coil setup. So we're going to try and see if you can maintain comfort and add some speed to your M3. We're going to go out onto the track, test both cars and see which comes out on top.
Alrighty Josh, let's start with the OEM one. How'd you go?
Yeah, I mean, usually an OE car that's like 2 ton, you kind of expect it to be pretty lazy in a lot of spots, but to be fair, for just a lowering spring on it, which you would think again would ruin the car even more, it was great. It was really, really good. It's an awesome platform. The car put the power down, it stopped. We did sort of 3 or 4 hard laps before the brakes started to fade a little bit, which is pretty solid for such a big car like this, and the time was pretty competitive. So very impressed with OE.
So we got you to jump straight out of the OE and straight into the GTE car, which of course has the Dixel pads, the Paragon rotors, and of course the GTE design suspension. What did you think?
Yeah, again, exactly as you would think with the upgrades, they were exactly that. The thing was sharper on the brake pedal, it didn't fade after those few laps, which is probably the most impressive part. I mean, it's easy to make a brake sharper than an OE design, but it's hard to make it last longer as well, particularly again in a heavy car. The suspension, it felt like it stiffened up the platform obviously, which is the first thing you want it to do, which made through the corner you could put the power down sooner, you could get the car turned in a bit later so you could square the corners off instead of making them long, and all sorts of techie driver stuff. But without compromising, I guess, the quality of the ride too, which was quite interesting. Over the bumps here at Winton through the sweeper, the OE car would go over and kind of be upset a little bit by the bump, and it would throw it sideways a bit. You can see in the video actually most laps I get some lock on it, whereas the GTE car actually rode the bump, put the grip to the ground, and you could apply the power while still giving it positive lock. It was actually pretty impressive how those small changes resulted in such a difference. And it was on an inferior tyre, you know, 50% wear compared to nearly a brand new tyre, and it was still able to go faster at Winton, which is all corners. So yeah, very impressive car. All right, so just leaving Winton now to the public road. Now, I have to say, I haven't driven one of these standard form before, but you would imagine that, you know, it's quite a nice ride, pleasant ride. It's not overly track focused. This has the shocks and everything in it. The road out of Winton's pretty bumpy, and yeah, like it's handling it well enough. Obviously, you know, it's slightly firmer than probably what the OEM car is, but not to the point where it's banging off the bump stop or anything like that. Now, one thing with the sharper brake pads is that sometimes when you're on the road not pushing, obviously not trying to settle lap time anywhere, the issue can arise where it's a little bit too sharp for what you need to do, and it can be a bit uncomfortable, and you always find your head's jerking and whatnot. But yeah, this is again is fine. It's got that nice balance between, you know, still there. You still know you got a bit of a better padding, but it's not throwing your head through the front windscreen the moment you lean on the brake pedal, which is nice. But yeah, with this pad and disc combination, even being sharper again, it's got no issues in terms of being too sharp for your everyday driving, which is great. Yeah, all in all, still super comfortable on the road. Exactly is what you would expect when you're spending the sort of money that you would on one of these cars that you're evidently probably going to use more every day on the road than what you would out on the track. But it is nice to know that you can make some subtle modifications to maybe lower it a little bit, make it a little bit more to your taste, make it a little bit quicker, but still remain comfortable on the road.